We're going to talk about a little bit of money problems here. Thank you for your applause. I know you've been waiting for me this long. I'm back. I'm here. We're talking Star Citizen money issues, money problems. 10.8 million in 2023 after Cloud Imperium reported a loss. Uh-oh. And you know how I am with finances. You know I'm all up on this shit. Yeah, my friend Execute from InfoRunners just a couple days ago, if not last week, DM'd me and he said, "Hey, DG, check this out." And I was like, yeah, dude. Because overall what I saw, it's not good. There's no other way to paint it. I mean, like, it was, I believe the costs were up past 50%, which is understandable because that was the Manchester move. So I get it. I get why costs are up. You know, a lot of people that are reporting on this aren't giving you the truth about why costs are up. They're just like, oh my God, look how much money they're wasting. And, you know, like that's all relative to if you think the move to Manchester was worth it or not. Was it a good business decision? Well, that's debatable, right? I said what I think's going to happen, and you guys know this, in 2025 is a contraction period. I think with Cloud Imperium, what you're going to see is a contraction period. You've been seeing the articles about people leaving and one way or another going, they're cutting down. They're cutting the meat down. They're cutting all the fat off. And I think that'll continue on. Let's talk about it while we watch this video, and I think there's another video on this, and I'll pipe in when I think it appropriate.
Cloud Imperium Games just posted an $8.4 million loss for 2023. So what on earth is going on? No, this isn't clickbait. It's right here in black and white. A loss of £8,387,000, or about $10.8 million. And that's pretty awful by anyone's metric. It's definitely enough to get the Star Citizen is doomed crowd foaming at the mouth and predicting the heat death of the universe. But, and you've probably figured this out, it's not actually as catastrophic as it looks. This isn't me mainlining copium. I've quit the stuff, gone cold turkey, in fact, at least for the duration of this video, and then I'm diving straight back in. The good news is I've got receipts, so maybe consider hitting subscribe for the actual pain I've inflicted on myself reading all this, so you don't have to. Because this is an eye-watering 50-page document. You'll find it linked below.
I mean, summary to all of this really is their costs went way through the roof. I think it was north of 50%. So costs going up that much. This move to Manchester, I'm not quite sure it was the smartest thing to do. Now they're shutting down the LA studio. And they'll continually, you'll see a contraction. I think people don't understand what, you know, like you're going to see a contraction. Have they been in a worse financial spot? Oh yeah. I think people forget all about the Calders and the days of Crytek and all the continual losses. There were many, many years of losses in a row, primarily towards the beginning of the project, and it did not look good. So is this the end of the world? No, businesses report losses all the time. I say the thing that really caught me off guard with this from this P&L report at Clearinghouse was the costs. The costs were a little extreme. Let's keep going.
Below if you're feeling brave, but know that reading it is just about as enjoyable as slamming your fingers in a door.
I like it. I love balance sheets.
The report isn't the gamer-friendly version CIG usually puts out on its own website. That hasn't dropped yet. What we're looking at here is the official legal filing required in the UK, and the figures come straight from an independent auditor, so it's not just marketing guff and space magic from Chris and the team. So are people losing faith in the game and slamming their wallets shut? Are Chris and the directors huddled on their yachts, burning stacks?
You know what needs to happen, and this is why you're seeing Squadron 42 being pushed so much, as it should, is they need that return on investment from Squadron 42, like yesterday, right? So they're going to be in a crunch here. They're really going to have to push Squadron 42 out for 2026, and I would say probably in the first half of 2026. If they let this end towards financial situations could get bad. And then if you're posting a loss next year, well, for 2024, which I don't think we'll see, but you don't know till we see the reports on 2024 numbers. But then moving into 2025, the year that we're in, I got to tell you, I feel like Squadron 42 has to get out the door at the beginning of 2026. I feel like they need to capture some more revenue. Well's getting a little dry after the expenses and all the costs that they've racked up, and they need some new cash. They need some new capital to come in. And I'm telling you, Squadron 42, I'd say Q1, Q2 of 2026, they're going to be in a really net negative financial position by the time the first half of 2026 going into, and even all through 2026, and then going into 2027 will be very rough if they don't get Squadron 42 out the door in 2026. If they can't, that's going to be real bad. They need capital inflows. They really do.
Of backer cash to stay warm. No, not even close. In fact, revenue was up in 2023, 47.9 million,
right,
compared to 44.6.
The problem is the revenues are great, that's fine, but the cost shot up because of the moves. Weren't the moves in 2023? So we might have an anomaly here. This just might be an anomaly of the move and the cost of expenses with the new Manchester place. I'm not quite sure if that was was that 2023?
6 in 2022. And the other operating income, was also up. £11.8 million.
Right, and they owe creditors
£6.9 million the year before.
Portion of money too.
So why the loss? Primarily because costs exploded, up by a chunky £24.5 million. And there seem to be three main reasons for that.
Yeah, yes, they bought the Montreal studio. Right. Benoit, that was 2023. The Manchester move was also 2023, though, wasn't it?
First, CIG bought the remaining 75% of Turbulent.
Yeah, right.
That's a big move, and a pretty pricey one too, at over £4.5 million. Second, they've been on something of a hiring spree, growing the team to keep both.
Which, I was saying, hey man, maybe they're expanding a little too fast. I think it was going 23, 24. People were just struggling. If you can't remember, 22 was a horrible year for the market. 22, we were in a bear market for the entire year, and SIG was actually growing through it. 23 was very large expansion, Turbulent, the buying of Turbulent in Montreal, which I think was a good move. That was a good move. Kind of consolidates the tech team with Benoit to focus on stability issues, which I think is very grounded and a very good financial move for the Montreal studio. I'm not quite sure if the Manchester move was a great idea. It's just really hard to do business in the EU as well,
Both Squadron 42 and Star Citizen moving forward. More devs, more salaries, more coffee machines. Add 2 teaspoons of the highest inflation rate since 1991, and it's all starting to paint a picture. The third reason is peak accounting weirdness. CIG moved into their shiny new Manchester Goodyard studio back in 2022,
October,
which happened outside of the scope of this report. However,
it happened outside of the scope of this report. It did not land in their full 2023 clearinghouse filing. I don't know if that's correct.
This is the first financial report where they're listing a £10 million liability tied to that studio. Why? Well, because when the lease ends, they're contractually required to return the studio in what they call Category A condition to the landlord. Think fresh carpets, nice lighting, and none of the geeky weirdness they've installed, like they were never there building spaceships and dreams. CIG has purposely overestimated that cost to avoid any nasty surprises down the road. Kind of like knowing you need to pay for a pet hair clean before you leave a rental property. You're not spending that money right now, but you'll end up in trouble if you pretend like that future cost doesn't exist. They haven't paid a penny of it yet, it's just sitting on the books. An accounting move, not a record of any money being paid. In other words, it's about being cautious, not cash-strapped. So that big £10 million studio cost, it does show up.
Yeah, but Manchester would be in the clearinghouse report, though, Stunner. But
right here.
I'm just curious as to why it wouldn't be on 2023's
admin
book.
Expenses suddenly ballooned like a starfarer hit by a torpedo. But here's the kicker. Take out that ultra-conservative estimate, money that hasn't actually gone anywhere yet, and that scary-looking £8.3 million loss, well, it actually turns into more what it actually is, a £1.67 million profit. So, once again, you can safely ignore the frenzy screaming that seems to follow, well, literally anything CIG does. That said, there are a couple of spicy footnotes worth paying attention.
I mean, I'm not quite sure how accurate that is. You know, I'm not quite sure if that's actually what's being reflected in the numbers, how he's explained it. We don't know the terms of the lease. We don't know if they were keeping the money in escrow. We don't know. Like, we don't know 100% for sure exactly that unless they've listed it somewhere or they've put that down publicly. We don't know, you know.
Attention to. Remember that whole drama from the last report last year? The one where certain stockholders could potentially sell their shares back to CIG at a premium? Well, it looks like that clause has now been renegotiated. It's been kicked down the road by a year, although it does still
sounds like what the government's doing.
have the clause that says they cannot force a sale that threatens the running of the company. And that means the earliest time anyone can start calling money out is after the 2025 financial report, so sometime in early 2027. Now, it's hard not to notice how nicely that timing lines up with the alleged release of Squadron 4.
No, I didn't say that. Aether said, didn't you say some time ago that it's better for SIG to operate at a slight loss for tax reasons? This sounds like strategy to keep themselves on the right side of that, to be honest. I'm a old school fundamental kind of economist dude, where like I like to see gains. I like to see the gains being posted. I get that. I know a lot of tech companies, they operate at losses quite often, but I like to see the gains. I like to see when they're posting gains. And you know, this kind of hit me when I checked this out, and I was like, not too happy with it. I gotta say, I'm not too happy with it.
42 and all the juicy revenue CIG will be hoping that brings. Oh, and before I get the smart-ass comments, but it says right here the company's loss for the year was over £20 million. Yeah, it does say that. But we backers tend to think of CIG as one company. In reality, it's a group of them, and those losses are offset by the profits of the other companies in the group. It's just singled out here because the UK-based part of those groups needs to be reported on so that CIG can receive those juicy video game tax breaks that are available here in the UK. So, there. On that note, those tax...
Yeah, I mean, what I look at primarily for financial health is cash reserves, Aether, and cash reserves were down like over 30% this year. So, or not I'm sorry, for 2023, for the report on Clearinghouse, they were down 33% on their cash reserves, which I don't like to see that. That is not financially a healthy position to be in when your cash reserves go down by over 30%. So, you can, like all the accountants can kind of play with the numbers to a certain degree, right, Aether? But at the end of the day, like what you'd like to see with the company, any company, is their cash reserves building up. And in fact, if they can take their cash reserves and find a way to make interest on their cash reserves, even so much the better, right? So yeah, I was not overall happy with what I saw.
Breaks are set to come to an end in 2027, so we need to keep our fingers crossed that Squadron 42 sees widespread commercial success. So unless you're hoping to roast marshmallows over the ashes of Star Citizen, this report really isn't the doomsday prophecy that some folks will be hoping to make it into.
No, it's not. He's correct about that. It's not like a doomsday scenario, like all hands on deck, the boat is sinking type shit. It's not that. It's not that at all. But it is a warning. It is a warning light. And the warning, what it tells me, or what I gathered from looking at the report is that I was not happy at the cost increase of over 50%. That's quite substantial for any company. When you see they increase their costs up to 50%, that's like, you're like, whoa. But again, they bought Turbulent, and I hope to God Manchester's on there. I mean, like, I don't know why Manchester wouldn't be on there. I'll have to look at it again, but I would imagine on 2023, since the move happened well within the confines of 2023, that should be reported, considering also that it's in Manchester, and we're talking about Clearinghouse, which is the UK's kind of IRS or financial institution where all companies have to list publicly on Clearinghouse. So I would imagine that the Manchester expenses and costs of goods would be included on 2023's P&L. So if it's not, holy shit, that means their costs went up past 50%. That's bad. So what I'm going to say is I'm fairly confident. I'll have to just double check myself and relook at the report, but that Manchester is included in those costs, in those 50% increases on costs. And Turbulent. But it's by no means right. It's by no means like the sky is falling. Everybody, watch out, we're all going to die type thing. It's not that. But what you will see is exactly what I told you would see. I said you're going to see a contraction in 2025. I literally am calling it out to you. I'm fucking clairvoyant on this shit. I said you're going to see a contraction coming into this year. I said it on revenues. I said it last year in 2024, going into 2024, 2025. I said you're going to see a contraction. And that's exactly what you're seeing. And then from this contraction, they cut all the fat off, they get leaner and meaner, and they explode again. But in order for that to happen, and this is very, very important, they have to make an ROI on Squadron 42. Full stop. They got to make money back that they spent on Squadron 42 within the next year. They got to do it. It's got to be done. 2026 is the deadline. And if they're smart about it, they'll release it the first half of 2026. And they got to do it. And if they don't, then we upgrade DEF CON to DEF CON 2. Like then we upgrade it. Right now, we're at a DEF CON 1 level, right? Okay, if by 2026 we're not seeing Squadron 42 and the return on investment from Squadron 42, then we raise it up. Then we raise it up to DEF CON 2. Goddamn right, oh shit, man style. Goddamn right. Then we raise it up. We got DEF CON levels up in this shit. Where's DEF CON at? I haven't seen DEF CON in ages. Probably watching Morph now. Poor guy. Eating nothing but dry crackers.
Is everything sunshine and rainbows? No.
Yeah, I know they didn't say first half of 2026. I know they said 2026. I'm saying that they need to release it first half of 2026. You understand what I'm saying, Coob?
Coob.
I'm saying if I don't see Squadron 42 releasing it, Coob, you understand?
Coob.
We're at DEF CON 1. We're only at DEF CON 1 right now. We're at DEF CON 1. Okay, we got many layers up to go. All right, this is just a shot across the bow. This is not this boat is sinking or anything. All right, I'm just making people aware where we're at financially. I'm the financial dude here, man. I'm just telling you, this is the shit. This is what you do. DEFCON 1 right now. Reporting DEFCON 1. Okay? If they are not releasing Squadron 42 by the first half of 2026, I'm elevating it. I'm elevating it to DEFCON 2 if I don't see Squadron 42 released the first half of 2026. I'm elevating DEFCON levels. I will elevate DEFCON levels to level 2. But we don't have to worry about that yet. I think they're smart enough to know they need their return on investment. We're at a very slight, we're DEFCON 1 yellow alert level. Okay, nothing crazy. Nothing crazy.
Not entirely. Big spending always brings big expectations, and as the dev team keep expanding, pressure's mounting to deliver the goods. There are storm clouds on the horizon that seem to rely quite a bit on Squadron 42 being a big hit with far-reaching.
Oh, do I have that backwards, DY? DY says elevating the DEFCON level causes the number to decrease, not increase. Where am I starting at, DY? Am I starting on 4 or 5? I mean, God damn it. God damn it. Why didn't somebody, Pepe, why didn't you give me the rules to DEFCON? How can I not know the rules to DEFCON? I've watched sci-fi my entire fucking life. God damn it. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I don't even deserve to have a channel. I don't even deserve a channel.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
I got my DEFCON all backwards, man. What? I know. I have my pants on backwards. Okay, we are at DEFCON 4, right? Or are we starting at 5? God damn it. God damn it, Pepe. God damn it.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Why can't I get my DEFCON level straight? God damn it, Pepe. God damn it. We're going to look it up on Wikipedia. Thank you, Limitless. Hold on. Limitless is linking us up here. Let's do this shit. Limitless. Start at 5. Thank you. Let's hear it for Limitless, by the way. Very active. No. Starting at DEFCON 5. We're at a light blue. We're at a. We should elevate it to 4. 5's like everything's cool, right? 4 is like where we need to advance. Okay, so we're at DEFCON 4. We're at super green, which is very, I mean, what a color. What a color to put there for like an elevated alert. That just makes me feel like it's better than blue. Like 5 and 4 are very debatable on your color palette choices. Like maybe just start with green and then go blue. Well, there needs to be some purple up on this shit. Maybe some purple, maybe some burnt sienna. Like what's going on with this color? Who color coded this DEFCON shit, man? They color coded this thing all wrong, man. God damn it. Pepe, make a note that I need to talk to the DEFCON officials about their color choices. Terrible color choices.
Appeal. But from where I'm standing, CIG looks more like a company gearing up for a major launch and not one on the verge of collapse.